Waskili.
Yes.
I know this is your first time at the Red Ring Media TV, but I brought you here to help me answer some questions that has been disturbing me. You know, right now, throughout the Republic of Kenya, there is a new sense that we need to explain what it is all about. Since the death of Raila Odinga, people are walking in the town with different political feelings. I want you to help us understand what we should expect in the next general election without Raila Odinga in the background.
Yeah, Chairman, I am happy to join this studio today.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I have been reflecting on what happened just 2 weeks ago. And my view is that thunder struck Kenya and that it has changed everything. And Kenya and Kenya's politics will never be the same again, because for many years, we never imagined the politics of Kenya without considering Raila Amolo Odinga as a factor. Whether or not you are supporting him, whatever level of politics that you are involved in, Raila will always be a factor. We are going into 2027 without the name, the character, and the influence of Raila Amolo Odinga. Why is it significant? It is significant in my view, because this is the only political leader that could evoke so much emotions in certain parts of the country and among certain demographics, especially the wretched of the earth, the poor, that he could declare a holiday, and Kenyans have a holiday. He could declare that there will be no work for 3 days, and there is no work. This is the only politician who may not be declared the winner, but the winner has to quickly make efforts to work with him if the winner was to control the politics after elections and to manage the country and ensure that there is peace and tranquility. But I think also that we have lost a leader who had the gravitas to push certain reforms when he was convinced that it is the right thing to do. I'm therefore seeing clear realignment. Part of that realignment is that Raila's big machine, that is the ODM party.
Correct.
That had support not only in Luo Nyanza but across the country, in the coast, in Western Province, in Nairobi, and Northeastern, and other places, has to rediscover itself, reinvigorate itself. All, if it does not do that, it will crumble.
Do you think ODM will retain some residue power without Raila to influence the voting patterns across the country?
It will take magic.
Wow.
It will take magic because it was not about ODM. It was Raila Amolo Odinga. And if you remove Raila from the equation in ODM, ODM is not the same. It's a pale shadow. It's a caricature of what Raila was. Raila was bigger than ODM. ODM was just a subset of what Raila is.
Now that leads me to another question, Wakili.
Yes.
Does ODM stand a chance to remain united post-Raila?
I think it depends on how they play their politics. I personally think that they were wise to have Dr. Buru Odinga take over as the party leader for a number of reasons. That Dr. Buru Odinga, because of his age, would be considered by majority in the party, especially those who were angling for leadership as a transition leader. But at the same time, that Dr. Buru Odinga has spent quite a lot of time with Raila Odinga, so may understand his networks and understand his ways. He does not carry with him the gravitas that Raila brought. But his duty right now is to reach out to the ODM factions, and any political formation are factions that you could clearly see from the date of death into the burial that the lines have been drawn, and try to bring them together. Whether he can be able to maintain the discipline that Raila was able to maintain is a different story altogether, considering that discipline in politics depends on the ability of a political leader to reward and punish. The question is there anybody in ODM right now who can reward and punish? Raila could reward you and reward or punish you by deciding whether you have a political life or your political life is completely shattered. And I don't think that is available. My only view is that ODM has to quickly gain new relevance. And the new relevance is that they have to attach themselves and remain attached to somebody who has gravitas because of his own personal aura, but also because of the instruments of power that surround him, and that is the president. And I'm thinking that it is only the president that can decide whether ODM will remain relevant or not. If they move away from the president's space, ODM will collapse.
Now, there have been politicians who have been known to win every election through ODM by being given direct tickets. What is your take on their future in politics post-Raila?
In my view, they should start planning for their retirement because the next election will be like no other. Why am I saying next election will be like no other? Is that, as I've said before, the person who could reward and punish is not there anymore. A number of these people got votes because of the gravitas, because of the moral compass, because Raila was seen as the conscience of the party, and therefore the conscience of its movement. This conscience, this moral compass is not there anymore. So politics has therefore moved from a personality politics, where Raila would decide who gets elected, to principles, to manifesto, to character, to commitments. What are you going to do to the people? And have you demonstrated previously that you are capable of making such delivery? So I see one of the most competitive elections ever, especially in ODM's backyards, Luo Nyanza especially.
Now, the professionals in Luoland have always said that leadership in Luoland has been reduced. The threshold has been reduced to an extent that what is required is loyalty, to Raila Odinga and also money in your pockets. Do you see this change in the post-Raila era?
I think so. I think so. I know of many professionals, learned people, people who are leading, very successful institutions, who previously had an interest in politics but gave up because it was a big gamble to get into politics when your development record and your character will not be the only choice. And therefore, I see a situation in which a number of people who had previously given up or suspended their political interest coming back in a big way. And so that's why I say the politics will be very competitive. We will have people who have ideas on what they can do to help. You see, this is the region where we got MPs who got elected because they stripped naked.
Wow.
Yeah, so things, I don't think that should happen. For instance, Kisumu, we got an MP because he stripped naked. And Kisumu it was the provincial headquarters, the main urbanized area.
The headquarters of the region.
The headquarters of the region.
And that takes me to the next concern.
Yeah.
Largely in Lowland, in the previous decades, 2 or 3 there, only one political parties have been thriving, such that when you get a ticket of the party, you are almost an MP, a senator, a governor, or anything else. Do you foresee other parties winning seats in Lowland in the post-Raila era?
That is not in doubt, because nothing can stop other parties from winning. My view is that the weight that pulled, the force that pulled the weight of the voters towards one direction was none other than Jacom Raila Odinga. That force is not there. Every candidate will have to fight for his own survival or his own win. So I see a situation in which candidates will come with various parties. Some will come as independent. And for the party that will succeed having the candidate will be the party that presents the strongest candidates. And the strongest candidates in terms of the character, the capability, and the policies of those candidates. I do not think that voters will vote merely for a ticket.
In the last general election and the previous ones, there are several candidates who are largely seen to be very strong and popular. But when it came to the political party tickets, they did not manage to get the ODM ticket, and they subsequently lost. Many of those candidates are now angling. I do not know if you would advise them to try it this time. Probably if I mention a name or two, there is Siaya, there was Gumbo, Engineer Gumbo. In Homa Bay, there was Dr. Kidero and Magwanga. In Migori, there was John Pesa in the governorship, and quite a few others later, Lowland. Is it your advice that this is now their time?
Yeah. I would urge anyone who has a political interest and thinks that they have great ideas, and they think that they have the capability to move around, to mobilize and organize the voters to vote for them, to come out and start campaigning. But even beyond the established politicians, I can foresee a situation in which these elections will also see many, many new faces, especially young people who had not gained interest or had interest but decided to bid their time coming in and chasing after votes. So I think it will be a mixed grill.
I think this would be my last question for you. In the past, there have been complaints of elected leaders failing to work for the people because the people's contribution to the election has been very minimal. It would just look like rubber stamping candidates which have been chosen by the party. Do you foresee elected leaders post Raila working for the people better than they were doing before?
They have no option. I think these MPs have, I think, one more budget, if at all, if CDF is allowed to still, proceed beyond the date set in court. Because anybody who will not have delivered, the voters are going to be most inquisitive. Voters are going to interrogate what they have done for 5 years. And anybody who will not have delivered, not only on CDF, but also in terms of their work in parliament, will most likely be thrown out. Because I, for instance, foresee a situation in which we could have campaigns like we had in 1988. In Kisumu, I remember the battle between Ouko and Omino.
Yes.
In which we would have joint rallies, and that Ouko would campaign, express himself, and Omino too. And it was neck to neck to the end, to the wire. And so I see such level of campaigns throughout. Yeah, so I'm not worried. I think politics is going to be very competitive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think finally, I would want to say you have taken us through what is supposed to be a book that every politician needs to carry to navigate the post-Raila politics. Do you have a last word for your listeners?
Yeah, the only thing I can tell Kenyans, especially those who have been touched by the death of Raila Odinga, who are still mourning, is that the honor we can give Raila Odinga is to move Kenya to the next level, to unite Kenya. And we have a leader who demonstrated in act and deed during the funeral of Raila Odinga that he intends to unite the country. He not only honored a leader by giving him state burial and giving him a national honor the following day after burial at the Mashujaa Day.
Yes.
But he also spoke and asked Kenyans that let us try and implement some of the ideals that Raila Odinga championed. And that for especially Luo Nyanza, Raila Odinga consciously decided to take our people back into government. I had been very worried on how long we were going to take in the opposition. And I get reminded every time I think of this by something I read when I was reading about the history of the military struggle in Israel, where a former minister for defense, who was previously the head of armed forces in Israel, when they reached Golan Heights in 1967, declared that we, as the Israelis, we have reached the holiest of our holy places, never to depart again. The Luo community played a critical role in the formation of the Kenyan state. It is no wonder that our coat of arms is made up of spears, the shield, and the cock, which were the ornaments that a Luo had to carry when establishing a home. So Kenya and the government of Kenya was our home in 1963. But we had to move out partly in 1966 and then permanently in 1969. When Jaramogi was kicked out in 1966 out of government, and when Mboya was killed in 1969. Interestingly, 25th of October was just the other day. That marks the anniversary of the Russia massacre, when over 400 people were killed, and to date we have no accountability. And very many young people in Luoland have been killed over the years in the struggle that has been outside. All the time what we had been struggling for was to get back to the government. We are at the heart of the government, and we have a president who is willing and committed to work with us, who tells us that the Luo community, I see you, I honor you, I want to work with you as a part of Kenya. We have never seen such, and he's demonstrated it in terms of the development that he's doing in our region. And therefore, I want to urge our people that let us just continue to entrench ourselves in our support to the president, and whatever opportunities and benefits we can get, we take to our people, so that with the time we can build other younger people who may grow and get to the point where in 2032 or thereafter could run successfully for president. But for now, our best bet is President William Ruto, and nobody should try to persuade our people about any other path. Thank you.